Google wants to reinvent its approach to Android, and it starts with a more serious attempt at hardware. To stamp something as made by Google should mean something, and that even includes a great honeymoon phase. I'm Jaime Rivera with Pocketnow, and we've just spent 24 hours with the Google Pixel. Since its inception, Google has vowed for simplicity. From the barren landing page on its search engine to the little things like the disappearing navigation buttons within applications, the key to understanding Google is to notice just how much it cares about the content and not how it's portrayed. That's the perfect way to describe the Google Pixel. Its front is as barren and as basic as a smartphone can get, since the story here is what's portrayed on the display. We've got a 5-inch 1080p AMOLED panel with punchier color than we've seen on previous Nexus devices, and about my only complaint is that the quite black finish doesn't blend well with the deep blacks of the display. The real story is the back. The anodized aluminum feels very smooth, and actually different to every other phone I've held, as if there was an added layer of texture to the aluminum that's not felt on the latest iPhone or even the HTC 10. The curves then blend to a device that feels small in the hand, or at least smaller than your average 5-inch display device. Setting it up for the first time shows a very different Android to set up. There's a new animation that hints to a phone being a work in progress. You're prompted for your SIM card, and I'll be continuing to test Project Fi on the Pixel here. You connect to Wi-Fi to activate the phone, and it offers options to restore from the USB OTG, from another Android phone, or set it up as new. I decided to restore from an old phone, which now requires me to go to the Google application on the old phone to restore. The Project Fi setup follows, and you add one or more fingerprints along with your password. The most important part of the setup is with the Google Assistant. The main reason for this phone to exist and be unique is really this service in particular, and Google teaches you how to use the Assistant and what it can do before it starts restoring your applications. The coolest thing about the honeymoon phase with a Google phone is trying out the latest developments for Android. To start, I've never seen Google so serious about wallpapers. There's an insane list of options to choose from, and I decided to go for a very interesting aura option that changes depending on the time of day. I'm really liking most of the elements of the new launcher, like the denser grid of icons. I've pretty much narrowed my home screen to just 2 screens, and I'm really struggling to fill up the second one. I love that there is still an app tray from a single swipe from the bottom instead of a button, and the new notification shade that can go from 6 quick icons to 2 lists that you can edit around for your convenience. And even cooler, that navigation shade even works with the fingerprint scanner. There are even new tricks like a nightlight to make low light use convenient, though it's more aggressive than I've seen on other competing devices. Obviously, not everything is perfect, and what I really don't like is this persistent date bar at the top that's kind of unpredictable. Sometimes it shows you the weather, sometimes it doesn't. If it does, you can tap on it to show you the forecast, but if it doesn't, you can't tap on it or select anything. And as much as I love that the persistent search bar now became a button, you're pretty much just left with the same experience where you really can't move anything around here anymore. Another is that, well, who came up with this design of the folders? I honestly don't mind that the circles aren't standard, but the rounded cross effect on the applications within folders is just weird. And then finally, the fact that the always-on display is not really always-on anymore. In the past, it was really hard to figure out how it worked with the Nexus 6P, but now it just flat out only works when you get notifications. And as for the main protagonist of this phone, the Google Assistant, so far my experience has been mixed. I love the quick way you can just call on it from the phone being on standby. I love how easily it is to be accessible from the home button. I love the conversational style of the user interface. I love that it's really smart at getting my information on the spot, and it's also contextual. What I don't like is that it's not really as smart as Siri in things like, for example, getting you an Uber, sending a tweet, or updating your Facebook status. Now, we do know that Google has a plan to provide support for third-party developers, but that really can't come soon enough. Still, let's be fair, we're just scratching the surface of testing this phone. So far, battery life has proven to be decent, even for its small size, and one thing that I really like is how fast it is to charge, topping even the HTC 10 on its speed. The single speaker is also plenty loud, but just keep your fingers away from it, as it's the worst whenever you muffle it.
This wide-angle shooter is fun to play with, but there is quite a bit of barrel distortion. You'll want to keep your horizon near.
And then there's this new approach to the camera that's really gotten me curious. Google has decided to not jump into the sub f2 aperture race, but has compensated with software. This is a very speedy camera that takes very good and colorful photos, even in the fall gloom that I'm dealing with. I love that HDR Plus is now miles faster than on the Nexus 6P, and as for night shots, well, I have noticed a little bit of grain, but it's not really that bad. But again, it's too early to judge performance. Overall, the Google Pixel is a very neat little package that has done a good job at pulling me back into the Google ecosystem. My first Android phone was a Nexus 1, and following the pure Google hardware mentality has been my preferred way to enjoy the ecosystem ever since. I won't lie, I am very excited for the full review period coming up, and we would love to know what you would like us to test in the comments down below. Folks, there are more videos of the Google Pixel coming up, so make sure you follow us on social media and hit that subscribe button down below for more videos like this one. You can also follow me on Twitter, Jaime_Rivera, or on Instagram at Jaime Rivera. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I am Jaime Rivera. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.